I think we're at a certain point, according to Jeff Meadows, we'll talk to him here a little bit, if we're gonna go that route. I think no matter what route, let me reword this, no matter which route we go or which direction we go with the sewer plant, I believe we're going to have to borrow money. I think we can do it for a cheaper option if that's the route you guys choose, but I do believe either route we're going to have to take it to the voters. I don't see a feasible way around it. That's me personally. I mean, that's what we're here to talk about. Whichever option we go with, I think I don't know if we can do it without that. I think we have to, if we do take it to the voters, no matter what we have to do, we need to educate them and explain to them why we are doing this, the reasons we're doing it.
And
it's not a choice we have.
And the city doesn't have the funds, but also to be translucent, they have to understand with this bond that, you know, the city defaults, each one that owns real property, they're responsible for that bond and we will be paying the taxes. But there is no way that the city can generate that kind of money. And I think with the interest rates being so high, there's no way we could go out and get any type of commercial loan. The only way we can do this is to, in my opinion, and I thought about it, is to present it to the voters. That would be the only way. And that wouldn't cover all of it either.
No, and I don't think no matter which option we go, I don't think we're going to have to use all of it by no means. So the ARPA called the other day. So basically what they said, you know, we only got partially funded for our project. So what they said is what happens when some of these people start falling out, and they will, a couple of these cities are going to fall out and not be able to complete the project, you know, that money will go to the first available that wasn't approved, which for our luck is us. We're the only one that was partially approved, I believe. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Like first.
So that money's going to go to us. We're going to get fully funded on that portion, I believe. But we won't know until 2024, and unfortunately at that point it's too late.
That's right.
So there's the SRF.
SRF.
Yeah, SRF grants. There's other grants out there.
Well,
there's
the community development block grants, which is like CDBG, that can be, there's an SRF fund, which is low interest loans through the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. And then there are community development block grants. The grants will require matching funds, and you can use the SRF
to contribute
fund, the low-cost loans as your matching funds for the grant. So even to get the grant, we're going to have the ability to generate a decent amount of funds. Are we going to need the full 8 that we previously talked about? I think we can.
Yeah, is there a max on the SRF? I thought there was.
I think it's like
I was trying to look, but I can't. I mean, more
1
time.
maybe?
Yeah, it's not going to be our full amount we need.
No.
Or even probably half. But it'll be as close.
Well, based on the plan that we have now, which totals 8 million.
Yeah.
I think the SRF was maybe 1.
I think it's 1.
But yeah, 1 million as part of that.
But that could be the matching contribution used for the CD or Community Block Development Grant.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we would apply for the community development block grants, but we would have to have, like, if they give us 500,000, we're going to have 500. If they give us $1 million, we have to have $1 million.
So we can, if we go with the SRF, and that we can be pretty much guaranteed 2 million.
in theory.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
if we can get a bond measure approved, you should be able. If we can get the bond measure approved, we should be able to get the SRF low cost funds. The grant is obviously an application.
Right. So, and which requires matching contributions.
Right. But the SRF does not, like, the grant is independent of the SRF funds. We could
Okay.
use the SRF funds without the grant.
The SRF, the legislature will block on a certain
Right.
amount
Right,
that you can do, so,
okay.
or that they're gonna give to that for us to borrow from.
That's only a quarter of the way there.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we really need to put it on the ballot to present it to the voters. But I think we need to be very clear to the voters what the financial situation with the city is.
So this is all well and good, but what happens if the voters deny it? And then what's our options?
That's a great question. I think we jump on the front answer.
Yeah.
I think that's
Because I think that's possibly the likely situation.
It is because people, if they know the truth, that, anytime you default on a grant like that,
Well, we already have, the problem is we already have bonds that were, the funds weren't used.
no, the funds were placed into general revenue, and the city was functioning for years on that, and I'll just be honest with you, that all happened when, what's his name was mayor. Stumpy was the city attorney, and I can't think of his last name, Wethington.
Well, I mean,
They deliberately, you can see where they threw it into a general fund. They didn't even have account lines and everything. And that's why when Betty Chilges and then eventually Mike Brown came on, we were trying to set up monies per month to try to contribute toward meeting just the interest payments, much less the principal. But there was no funds because at that time, the city was in such rough shape that we couldn't even meet payroll. So we had to borrow from other funds just to meet payroll. And we eliminated and cut people back that we were working with a skeleton crew. And all that happened as a result of the prior administration. I know for a fact Wethington made contributions to churches, which a municipality cannot do that. So there were several things that were messed up, and the city looked fine, and then of course when Mike Brown came on, everybody's like, well, what happened? The city's been maintaining this for, all the millions of dollars they had, they threw it into a general fund, they did not separate it, so they could spend whatever they want. And that's why the city basically was outspending what the revenue was.
I would just say, I don't know if it's wrong, but pretty much all the prior administrations for a long period of time, as long as I remember, just, there was no checks, balance, accountability anywhere. So
Nothing. It
But
was,
we can only deal with the cards we're dealt with now. And the real problem is that we don't have a sewer issue in my opinion. EPA says we have a sewer issue, so we have to fix it. Unfortunately, they're our boss. But I'd much rather spend the $8 million and fix our water system than I would sewer. There's that. But
well, we do have sewer
there's
issues.
some, it's very, maybe, might lose it. But
I think our water issues are more of a priority than sewer, but there are issues with sewer.
it's unfortunate that the EPA is the one that comes out and sets these regulations. And
Regardless of how,
the problem with it is here they go, they have no idea what financial status, they have no idea of anything, but here they're going to put these regulations on us that, quite frankly, how many cities out there are not going to be able to read this? I mean, we already know that's an issue because after talking to DNR and so forth.
and a lot of cities may say we can't do it, and turn it over to the county, and if the county rejects it, it goes to the state to do with what they want.
So,
It's all about meeting your limits at the time, and we meet all of our limits today. So,
are we up, so this is a great question. So, are we up to the EPA standard that they've set up, our goal of 2026?
Yeah,
So we're there.
yeah.
Okay. We'll see.
We just gotta get a disinfection system, right?
Disinfection wise, no, we're not.
I
But as
mean,
far as DOD, GSS, we're within our limits.
and I may be way out of line here, but is there a way to shop that system? To get, well, to get the best pricing on that?
Yeah.
Like the best method and like,
Right.
you know. Because I know they talked about UV, and that's kind of the most expensive.
Right.
So
But
here's what
are there-
I just told Nathan earlier that I know basic parasitic acid, long-term would be more costly, but upfront cost is less. So to me, that makes a lot of sense.
For a city of our size and stature.
Will the EPA allow that?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as we meet as long as it comes out.
Okay, so
right.
explain to me, why is the cost up front not much, but it would be greater
You
later?
got like chemicals every year. But I still am not 100% convinced that it would be more expensive right now because of that kind of like bulbs and everything else for the UV system.
The electric cost, there's all that cost.
So what are we looking at, the type of
951,000.
treatment, how much?
For just UV, 951,000.
Which,
So
Rough
what,
guess, shot in the dark, parasitic acid to get set up.
The chlorine contact chamber, just the chlorine was 1.4.
So
That
that's-
doesn't have parasitic acid.
Okay. So,
is 1.4 just for the setup? And what is the annual upkeep on that?
Well, chlorine, isn't there a secondary, like you have to dechlorinate it?
You'll have to decool too, yeah.
so there's two parts of that.
There's two chemicals.
Parasitic acid, there isn't, there's only one. And like in UV, there's only a one.
Right. I think
You only
UV probably
disinfect it,
is
you don't have
better
to.
than chlorine.
Well, with the UV, you don't have to do any of that, because the UV will
Right,
just,
right.
yeah. And the UV system is $1 million roughly?
Roughly.
Yeah.
And what is the maintenance cost on that?
so-
Per quarter, per annual, or?
It just depends on how long it goes.
Yeah, because there's like 25 different kinds of.
Well, what's the
setups
cost of a
bulbs.
bulb?
I think
140.
And what have you found approximately how long they last?
We just changed 12 of them. It cost us $1,500, and they last about a year.
Okay, so that's
Well,
not
yeah, I
bad.
like the cost of that too, running power bills.
Oh, that's
So
right,
there's
it's gonna be
electricity, you know,
24/7.
Nathan, did you hear about, is it Richland that has a UV system? And they were really like hurting by one bulbs? Was that Richland or was it somewhere else?
But UV costs, as far as utilities, electricity shouldn't be that high.
They're saying the energy
So we
cost is
just have to
$1,500.
shop. Sorry.
Yeah, see, because
No,
usually
I was-
typical is lower than,
Right.
You guys want to call Jeff? I told him.
Yeah, I'll call Jeff.
10:30.
so I don't see how the EPA is setting $8 million.
No,
No, they're not, that's estimated cost of this.
that's.
And disinfection.
That's like an overall.
Disinfection is not year round.
Right.
It's not 24/7 year.
Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Jess. How are you?
Great.
Hey, good. You're on speaker, so can you kind of run through it, your thoughts and on the sewer project and what your recommendations are, and then I think we have some questions for you too.
Sure. Has everybody had a chance to, did they see the email I sent on Sunday?
Yeah, we looked at it during the meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we had that in our meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that gave a little bit of history, but kind of where we're at right now. Of course, we were partially awarded articles on the amount of $447,000. The facility plan had identified just under $80 million worth of improvements. So, and we applied for a $5 million grant from ARPA, only awarded 440 something at this point. So even if we had been SRF program. It's a low-interest loan, and if you borrow money through their program, the low interest is it's a 70% subsidy on interest market. So, in round numbers, if the market rate is 6%, then you're borrowing at 2%. So, as of right now, I think the interest rate is 1.5 or something of that nature.
It'll be a fixed rate.
Jeff, is it fixed rate? Do you know?
Yes, that's fixed rate for 20 years. So, and then if you borrow money through the SRF program, then you are eligible, or that you be eligible potentially for some grants that they have available. The first one being an affordability grant, which is up to 50% of the project cost with a cap of $2 million. And there's a water quality incentive grant. If you have new permit limits or something of that nature, which you do, that's again, maximum of 50% of the project cost with up to $1 million. So, it's possible that you would be eligible for both of those from the affordability standpoint and the water quality standpoint. It is a competitive program that would be eligible, so that we could feasibly see about $3 million grants through there. And then I believe we would also for a CDBG grant up to $750,000. So, all that being said, in order to access that SRF program, it does require passage of a revenue bond issue. The bonds, so whatever amount that would be borrowed would be, the debt service would be paid back through the revenues of the sewer system. So, the deadline, so the SRF applications are due March 1st, and the intended use plan would come out. So basically, they score all the applications, and the intended use plan would come out with the fundable projects in early summer, June or so. And in order to be on that fundable list, you would have to pass a bond issue in April. So even though typically in years past, you would have already had to have passed your bond issue before the application to be available, they've changed that now so that if the application's due in March and you have a bond election in April, they'll still update that application once assuming that the bond issue passes. So that means we could be started in design and feasibly with a loan closing in the fall of 23. So if we push the bond issue back past the April ballot, then essentially you're moving back a year.
Now, is this only incumbent upon passage of the bond by the voters?
I think so. Jeff, or what happens if it doesn't pass the first time with the voters?
Certainly, you can put it on the ballot again, potentially, maybe, depending on what we felt the reason for it not passing. If you want to change something, I'm not sure what that would be, but the other options, you can borrow money, I think similar to what you did previously on the street and sewer project through a certificate of participation. That would not require a bond issue, but you'd have market interest rates, and of course, interest rates have increased quite a bit over the past several months. And then you would not be eligible for those DNR, SRF grants. So you'd probably still be eligible, you would be eligible for a CDBG grant, but that's only in the 750,000 range.
So how much would we need to be on that? Because we have to have a match.
Our bond measure that's going on the ballot right now, would you suggest going for what we originally have in our plan, the 8? Is there any way that we can like trim some of that out?
Yeah, the one thing I would do want to point out, whatever the number is on the ballot, that doesn't mean that you have to borrow that money,
Right.
of course. So the goal would be to obtain as much as grant funds as possible. But store your grant eligibility until after the application is submitted and then after the bond issue is passed. So there's no way of knowing whether you're getting those grants or not. So they basically, those are gap closing or affordability, so they extrapolate those grants are there to help keep the user rates as low as possible. So I guess the answer to your question is, I think it would probably be a minimum of $5 million that we want to put on the ballot. And the reason I say that, assuming that I think we could afford about a $2 million SRF loan based upon what I've seen, just kind of preliminary numbers that we crunched, looking at your budget with the rate increase on sewer and so forth, as well as look like you're actually in the black in the sewer system. So it looks like you can go in for that. So if you add the SRF grants and the CDBG grant, you could be easily looking at between $5 and $6 million project. And at that point, you know, and that's just kind of keeping the rates where they are without raising them any of primarily.
I mean, that would be a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, is there, worst case scenario, is there anything that we can, so when we applied for the ARPA, we submitted the project plan. Can that project plan be changed, or are we stuck in what we submitted to them? I'm just saying, if we had to like reduce the size of the project to bare minimum, is that an option and still be able to use ARPA funds that we hope we get more of?
Okay. Certainly, if they reduce the amount of ARPA funds, and if we can figure out a way to reduce the scope, then I think you can reduce the scope based upon the funding available. The challenge is going to be the improvement of the in order to keep in compliance. You have a lot of challenges in staying in compliance. I mean, it's 3 or 4 pretty significant challenges. The first one being the disinfection limit that has to be met. That's already in your permit for 2025. And that's disinfecting all flows, not dry weather flow. And you also have, you're currently, when it rains and flow to the plant exceeds the treatment capacity, you go to the lagoons. And then we have an illicit discharge out of the lagoons. So when the lagoons get full, they discharge to the creek without treatment. So the facility plan improvements included blending of that flow the total of that as well. So keeping the plants in the disinfection as well as eliminating that illicit discharge. The other significant compliance is the sludge handling. So, which is what we've been dealing with EPA. We are, right now we have inadequate amount of sludge storage in those rectangular basins. So I know it's, and recognizing that you're working toward and you have your sludge truck able to land apply if we find the land that we can apply on. But we don't have enough storage to get it out in the fields efficiently. So we need a sludge digester and additional basins. And then the other component of that, which affects everything in your plant, is the effluent screening and grit removal. The challenge, the complaints I think about landfill application in years past have been a lot of the debris and trash that's in the sludge that gets on the farmers' fields. That's a problem there, but it's also a problem throughout your plant and your aeration basins and your clarifiers. And then you'll really start to notice it in your disinfection, UV disinfection unit. So the influent screening and removal is another component of that. So it'll be some tough decisions and trying to figure out how we can whittle that scope down if necessary.
Right, I know we'd like it all, I'm just, worst case scenario.
Sure.
Because, this is gonna be a hard sell no matter what the amount is for our voters.
I think it's hard, Joe, because we're gonna have to explain to our citizens, because we know, according to the EPA, we have a sewer issue. And some of that, but to our citizens, I think, I would probably agree with them, we have much more of a water issue that I'd rather fix than, a sewer issue. I don't think our citizens, we get one sewer call a month probably, versus, a couple sewer call, or water calls a week. So it's just, we're gonna have to make sure we word it very strategically, so.
Sure. So, one thing that we can do, if you all deciding not to pursue this, and we're going to have a special meeting next week to look at the ballot language ordinance and so forth, then we can kind of give a few different options of dollar amount to actually fill in that ballot language.
Okay.
We can talk through that next week.
You guys got any more questions for him while we got more time? All right. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you. You got anything more for us?
I don't think so. Well, one thing I guess you mentioned, we're hopeful maybe get some more off of Dollar Tree, probably already touched on it, but in the webinar, that question on the wait list, and what's the best thing to do? DNRs very explicit about move forward with financing, move forward with design. So because by the time somebody falls out, somebody's bypassing the funding process, then there won't be time for the next one in line to get design and everything, and permits and so forth ready to bid. So I think this all falls in line with kind of this plan as well.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.
Our only saving grace would be passage of the bond.
Once we get it passed, then we have the SRF.
Yes.
That's what he said, we have to have that.
Yes.
It's just the language.
And the other two, well, the community development block grant would not be, is not conditioned on a bond issue, but the other two were.
The larger amounts.
The 2 million and the 1 million.
Yeah.
So that's a total of up to $3 million of great free money if we can get this.
So,
Our IMI is premature control, correct? Or how are you?
No, it's been,
So that,
but that's every city I've come across.
Yeah. Even if you're not, you're gonna have to pay to fix every drain that's not supposed to run.
Every gutter in town is running.
So,
that's so,
so I don't know.
it's over, like, it's not off anymore, it's not overfilling.
We're not allowed.
It's not allowed.
Too, yeah, so.
Oh, it did like last week?
It's supposed to rain, what, like a lot next week? So-
I think the rain we got the other day was most rain I've seen.
That was a
around
lot.
there. We got 4 inches of rain at the farm, so I think that's a lot, so.
Yeah. it's not my house.
Can drive.
That was the most amount of rain I remember in a short period of time in a very, very long time, so. If
And
they
it
didn't do it there, I don't know.
No,
But like the bags, that would be great.
Yeah, so I was just, so worst case scenario, right, if we don't get it fixed, there's, the sludge handling, the bags will take care of 3 and 4. Okay, they'll take care of the sludge, and they'll take care of, we don't have to necessarily have a screen and gritty river system at that point.
Right.
Because this is
You gotta have
the bag.
it's clean fill.
The way it is now, you have
We
to
take,
hold time.
where we had to set up, and somehow along the line we fell off, sorry.
You have to have hold time on your stuff. So it has to sit in there for 75 days. It has to.
That's why we had that roll-off down there, because we were gonna have, we had WCA give us a roll-off. We let it sit there and drain over the drain right there,
Right.
and said, but it's there, we can pick it up, and
Does the 75 days start from this last bid you put in?
Yeah.
Okay, that's, because I assume this is gonna be a week-long process to fill it.
then we just had WCA call it all fixed.
And how much sludge
It
are
goes
we
to like-
talking? How many bags?
Oh, it's a huge bag,
It's
like,
huge.
it's probably the size of.
How many
it's
tons?
huge.
It's big.
Yeah.
So,
50 tons or more.
let me ask you this.
I don't know.
You
Is
could
it-
probably put 20 times.
Is it clean fill after that or not?
I think it's,
Is it clean fill?
well, they're able to take it, so,
Yeah, they just gonna take it.
But I mean, if it's clean fill, then we
I
get,
don't know, that's a question.
So,
I would say it's clean bill, they can take it.
then we won't have to pay them to take it, and pay for the tonnage of hauling dirt.
somebody have to meet Class A biosolids.
Okay, and then maybe, after the question,
That screen, everything we
Right.
Clean.
They have to
Yeah,
meet
I would think
Yeah.
a
so.
certain
Everybody
criteria
trained.
called Class A, and then you can.
That's, I believe so, the county sewer district still uses bags, and they seem to love
They
it.
love it.
So,
There's just a polymer cost, chemical cost, but it ain't much.
so worst case scenario, we're on that, we still have this infection and issue.
well, no, the way I understand it though is these disinfection plans, they're claiming for the amount of daily flow we have, correct? And if we decrease our daily flow by ridding ourselves.
Yeah, I don't get why he has this in here. He's putting us at a 1 MGD for this UV system. We're nowhere near one.
I changed it for when it rains and we have extreme high flow.
Yes.
They did it,
We
yeah,
still
they,
never get it done.
So they basically use the highest flow and average.
they use like,
that.
yeah, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So if we can fix I-9, our average flow goes down.
So, worst case scenario, let's play out like, worst case scenario, we don't get no rock fast.
So there is a parasitic acid option in here, I found, and it's 2.7 million.
Whoa,
Where goes that?
So it's the highest cost of all three options.
So,
it
anyway,
is.
I think some of our I-9 we can fix. Now, we're not gonna make a lot of people happy because we're gonna have to make them fix some of their stuff, but we can fix some of our I&I. I think if we got the maintenance guys here, when it's gonna rain, and we start popping manholes and kind of locating where our strategic area are, which we, I think most of us have a general idea where it's coming from.
And that is
I'd say this general area up here.
right here in the city.
This block.
So yeah,
The majority,
a CMOM program would help the city out tremendously, because you can do smoke testing in-house, camera.
So you're saying a lot of storm drains go to.
Yes.
so they have,
Yeah.
they have to.
And a lot
So we gotta
of,
fix that.
another big area is, Teresa, Angel, Country Mark.
All those houses right there.
That all goes into that lift station.
Oh, it's terrible.
And we
When
did a board.
it rains, that lift station.
We started Ward 1, we do that, that's the whole year, and then we start next year at Ward 2, and we just keep going through the wards.
We see, so we should choose to work through the wards, like he said, do a ward at a time. So when we smoke test it, right,
And if your house is,
Comes up through the
It
ground.
comes up in your house.
Someone can see. No.
If it comes up in your house, that's bad.
If you have a floor drain connected to your drain tile, it's
Yes.
going to come
It
up.
comes after gutters.
It's going to come out the ground next to the basement, so where a lot of it comes up.
we can fix a lot of our issues, and we have the
But you're gonna
ordinance.
have a lot of people that say, I can't afford to replace that drain pipe clear to the tie-in for the city.
But, that's why I say, we're gonna have some people that are gonna be upset about it. But that's gonna have to be an option. Now, all our ordinances are in play that say that they can't do it, so it's not like, this is long, many years ago that they.
How old are
So what do we hypothetically, what do we do if someone says, I can't afford to do it and I'm not gonna do it?
That's a Jeff question. It's a Jeff question. The lawyer Jeff, not the.
Yeah.
I think our biggest thing, worst case scenario is gonna be just this, I mean, we can afford it. We can afford it.
So here's
But
something.
we're gonna, we'll be very
Yeah.
stringent for a long time.
It-
At least it take, I don't know, we're probably, so we just, got taxes, you figure we're pricing about 1.8 right now.
Well, there would still be good options.
Yes, and we would still have that money,
CDBG.
we would still have some, but we still have the money we got. So we would have to come up with like, let's say we have to come up with 500,000. I mean, we could do that, that's really easy, we could. Do we want to do that necessarily? I don't know, I guess it just depends on how, we feel about it, but if we can get it done for $1 million, worst case scenario.
I have a fear that.
But I think we're going to work through a lot of issues, and it's going to be a process too, so.
If we do the grant, then we're gonna spend more than it would actually. So we're still on ideas, what if the grant doesn't, or whatever, bond doesn't pass? And we're finding ways to do this. If we get the bond, then we're gonna put in this $8 million system. It's a bit overkill.
And it's complex, I mean, so, I know Shane was kind of playing, everybody's done it every day, but to not have a full-time operator on staff, I mean, you're gonna have 8 more pumps down there, you know what I mean?
You're gonna have more wages involved with that.
You're gonna have a lot more panels, electrical stuff, it's gonna be a upkeep.
And, I mean, at the current rate, we bring in, what, $300,000 a year for water and sewer? No, maybe not. Whatever it is, how long is it going to pay for an $8 million system? And in 20 years, when they change regulations again and say you have to meet these criteria, and we have to upgrade it again and spend another $10 million, by the time inflation kicks in, it's 15.
Well, we may not be alive, but still, I understand what you're saying. But that's the EPA. Look at through the years, how many times.
That's
that's
why
been
I say,
changed.
if we can save money now and do a cheaper option, we
Yeah.
should probably do that.
I think so.
I'd say no matter which way we work through it, we'll probably,
We're gonna spend money on disinfection.
that's going to have, we're going to
to
have to borrow some money, some way, shape, or form.
I can see that
To
too.
spend a lot of our money.
Well, it sounds like the only way we can borrow or get grants or is we gotta do the bond issue.
That's
We have to
exactly
do
right.
that.
But my concern is if we throw $5 million down on a bond issue, I can tell you right now,
Yeah.
the majority of the people are gonna say no because they feel like we're tax. Yeah,
It's gonna raise the tax.
We
Yes.
have to explain to them, like literally,
Yeah.
us explaining to
Well, the
everybody.
language like up to 5, we may not need the whole 5.
And that's the thing, we don't have to use that. The nice
How
thing-
many governments in history have ever not spent all the money on it?
That they got, yeah.
I mean, it
Well,
just
watch
is
it.
what it is.
Print money.
Watch it. Print money, yeah. I say don't put the bond issue on there, don't give us the option to spend the money, you don't have to.
Watch us,
So-
not.
Sludge and
I
disinfection.
just feel that if we presented a lower version, and then if that goes through passage, maybe the next year,
Not on a bond, that's the,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah,
deficit.
it'll just.
Well, we
be-
just passed the bonds.
Yeah. It'll,
I just have a concern with the passage of it.
Yeah, that's why I say we have to have this plan, like Mike is planning right
Yeah.
here.
as a backup.
How much can we do in
What are we gonna do first? What are we gonna do second? What are we gonna do second?
the bags?
The bags are gonna, yeah, the
And what
bags
is
are
it,
gonna,
CMOD again, is that?
CMOM.
I mean, are the bags something we can do without?
So,
It's pretty much,
we have to buy, we have to buy machines for smoking if we can't get those, that can to work or whatever, that brings down.
the blow.
And then the balls. So we're talking, the camera is gonna be $5 minimum. I guess minimum.
That's minimum.
Which can be handy for us in other
It
instances.
could,
Yeah.
There's actually $5 grand, so we might go pick up a used one, from another city that's upgraded, and get it, go there. I know, those other used items cheaper.
I mean, a rover camera, because you can see the whole angle of the whole height. We got ours for 28.
I was gonna say 20 at least, is what
Hey,
it is.
it's easier.
I mean, the camera I want for me is $7.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Regency.
Yeah, that's the one. 4 inch high.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
That's typically what you're gonna look at in this city.
No, the city has plus. The city basically does.
Think they're gonna be yours?
No, but you're talking about viewing this coming onto individuals' residence, right?
We want to look at
And, okay, amazing, because that's getting ready to say, you guys may have 8 inch, but I know there is a lot with 4 inch pipe. The other place-
Come on, let's do it. How many feet is it? 125? No, it's 50 meters, 150 foot, right there, Pat. You just run it from both ways. Hey, I've cameraed a lot of city mains with a camera very similar to that, actually, so it will do it.
Amazon, it's on Amazon.
I was gonna say eBay, but you can
Amazon.
you can use it.
Hey, Prime 2, that will have in 2 days. No matter what, I think we need a camera, I think that's very feasible. We have the blower down, which I'm sure, what is the blower down?
I don't think we've tested it. We used a blower before, a couple years ago down Andrews, but I don't know if that was always.
I'd say we can get that blower.
Daddy told me, I remember passing that.
And it fits over now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we use ours.
So test balls, what, $300 or $400 worth of test balls?
They're pretty expensive. The ones I'm talking about are pretty.
We've got one inch.
That's what
They're
we
usually
use
$600.
we use down in Portland Wood, whenever.
I'm sure there's some.
We just use the trains, and they work.
So, 3 and 4 we can fix. I think we all agree, 3, 4 we can fix really easy.
And then 2, with doing we can work on 2 with that.
I'm gonna say this, I almost think one of our storm drains is tied in there somewhere, like a major
I
storm.
think a main like up here, a big one.
I'd say there's a good chance of it.
That's my 2 cents.
I'd say if you
Maybe next time we're supposed to get some rain, we'll
line
put some
on, is there a
people.
line on Locust that runs from 2nd to 3rd, running down Locust?
It almost has to be there. Yeah.
That
The soccer field line, I think, pretty bad too.
We seem to really have a problem up in here, like it's bad through this area, so it has to be
I got 3 calls in my friends at the mayor for sewer calls.
The only thing that makes me think it's this one here more than over there is because the motel up around the corner, when it rains, the after hours number.
Doesn't 3rd,
Say comes up through their toilet.
doesn't
Or for it to
3rd,
come through the toilet, they have to be tied in that storm
And
drain.
they said it came from the basement.
so doesn't the main on 3rd flow this way?
To that flow direction,
So it's equally bad. Because I know it splits up 3rd,
that's why we require that.
it's 2 houses here, and a 3rd house, and the house on this side too.
Really?
Which he ties into Locust. One up there, you don't know, yeah. He ties into Locust, so that's why I say it's that one and this one.
Easiest fix.
But I mean, it could be both of them.
Well,
We know, well, in fact.
I think no matter what, that's
Flood guard in this
I think no matter what the I think we need to address, no matter what happens here, we really need to know if there's a storm drain hooked in there, because that's gonna reduce the I no matter what down there and save us money in the long run.
So,
Smoke testing.
smoke test, camera, balls, and dye. No smoke bombs.
So maybe get pricing on that before our next meeting.
Making a list.
I'll say Jay Messer, the guy. He's eccentric, but up in St. Louis, and he's got cameras. And he might find some, you know, big for this.
No matter what, we still have a disinfection issue, so that's,
That's like the number one issue we've got to fix, right?
That's the big one, yeah.
That's the one we need to, we can focus on these, but that one's the one we've got to have done.
If we get all these other ones done too, that's gonna help us with this.
Yeah, with the
Because
disinfection.
we're not treating
It'll
it
slow
right
down
now.
the flow.
That's right. We're gonna be treating actual sewage.
But this sounds like it could be doable, it would be costly, but doable. Don't you think?
I want to know who's making all these UV lights.
Charging.
You know, some a light system that costs maybe 10,000 to maybe charging millions of dollars for.
That's like the government.
Every town needs one, 500. It's the latest.
Yeah. What's from $5 to 5,000, you think?
I know Newburgh, city of Newburgh, they got literally ones to plug into a 120 outlet. Yeah.
It works though.
Are you kidding me?
Here we go. It's awesome. Amazon.
They just sit in the channel, they got a 120 outlet.
I'll get us some
Nothing surprises me anymore.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, I went to the council on Tuesday.
Nothing.
They have an old DOS computer in the corner, and that's how they do it, billing, 1994.
My God, it don't.
Well, so we need, how you gonna put a float and we're rolling.
How many do we need?
Just that,
Take it any time, and we're gonna
Give me like a $5,000 budget on Amazon and I'll have it fixed up in no time.
Are you adding this to your cart?
I should be joking.
So I can build it where it goes like 10.
I get you, and I'll get it.
So,
can make it
do we need to come up with,
when are we gonna have a meeting?
You just tell me.
No, what you go is go to S&T, some brainiac there and have them design something for
They're
us.
probably the one that designed this and making all the money.
They
on it.
are.
Yeah, but you get a student.
They don't have that
We had-
stamp though.
Monday's a holiday, we'll do Tuesday if you guys want to. Tuesday.
Yeah,
Monday's a holiday.
yeah. I can do Tuesday, Monday I can't.
Tuesday, 6:30?
What are we doing in the court? The,
Yeah,
there's something.
Water language.
Ballot language.
Yeah. And
You
Jeff,
have to get it done, they have to have it up there by then.
you're gonna get with Jeff on that?
Jeff should have a, pretty much a template made already for it, that's not a big deal.
I think he's.
it's before the end of
Is
the
this
month.
it?
Tuesday,
Yes.
6:30. She's as cute as she was. I just take her home with me.
So 6:30?
6:30
I like to
Tuesday.
do 6, but Charlie likes to do 6:30 or.
I like to say. Some of us have to work all day, and, you know.
Some of us have a family to get to, so. We got Iggy and Yang here, it's weird.
I have neither option.
What do you guys want to make it 7?
6:30.
Why don't, it shouldn't be,
Split the difference, Trevor.
Yeah, that's why I said 6:30.
Let's put the difference in it for, wow.
No, I can't make it then. Not on Tuesday.
Don't save me a trip time. Right
all
there.
right, well,
We do it early in the morning.
They won't be there too.
Well, I mean, early.
Yeah, like 4 in the morning.
You do it like
5 o'clock.
hey, I'm telling you, if you're out at 4 in the morning, do not be speeding.
Okay.
You're on it.
Fair
You were out
warning.
at
I'm in my house at 4:30.
They're watching you?
They are.
They pull you over?
There are two kinds of people out at 4:30 in the morning.
They probably.
Those of us like getting up to be productive and those who haven't gone to bed. Prefer they look at those people.
They probably thought you were over there.
Yeah.
She's consistently not going to bed.
Right, she is never.
No, I'm trying to see your right anyway.